Welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Kayla, Ben's behind the camera, and we are currently in Edinburgh, Scotland. It's our first day here. Just got in, just showered, just cleaned up from the flight, and now we're headed out to get some fish and chips. So we'll take you with us and see what else we do.
Oh, also, I don't know if Kayla mentioned, but we're going to a fish and chips place called Bertie's. It's supposedly pretty good.
I would eat everything here.
Does it taste Cajun?
Yeah. Very good. Very Cajun-y.
I wouldn't expect anything less. Of course it's going to be good. It's fish and chips.
I'm getting through.
That's adorable. Oh, that's hilarious. I need to take a picture of that.
Alright, so the fish and chips were actually really good. Highly recommend that place. I'm sure there's better places out there. I wouldn't know, but this was pretty highly rated on TripAdvisor. So I can definitely say it's other people agree. The traditional fish and chips was the batter was actually a little sweet, which is really good. I mean, I think it was the salty fries and the sweet batter. I think that's what really sets it off and makes it different from some of the other fish and chips that I've tried. All right, we're gonna go to a little bar here and maybe meet up with some of my friends. I don't know if we'll film much of that part, but
Stop the clocks, the bees are humming in between the contrasts of our souls.
Good morning. Today we are in Edinburgh, Scotland. We are planning to go to breakfast at this unique pancake place, and then we are going to take a walking tour of Scotland. They have the free walking tours. And then we'll do some more stuff this afternoon after that walking tour.
this pancake place was recommended to us yesterday by our taxi driver. So he said it was pretty good, and he said they have some pretty nice waffles and crepes, and that's my big thing. So we're gonna go figure that out.
Looks delicious.
Yeah, it really does look incredible. I'm super excited for this. Plus, I love pancakes, so this is gonna be perfect.
Super good. It's called Stack and Still if you're in Edinburgh. Great for breakfast, but even if you like lunch, they have savory options too. So they were super kind. They let Ben charge his phone because he accidentally didn't charge it last night.
Yeah, I put it on the charger, but I don't think when I had it plugged in, I don't think the voltage was correct for it to charge. So
we're just gonna walk around now until the free walking tour.
yes, so we have a little bit of a free walking tour this afternoon, and then after that, we haven't quite planned it yet. We may either go to the botanical gardens or we may try to do the Royal Yacht Britannia. Either one of those places, we're both pretty interested in it, and we've been told that the botanical gardens are very pretty. We're going to be trying to check out one of those, and we'll have to make a decision based on probably A, how cold we are, and B, what we want to see.
We are here at the Prince Street Gardens, I believe is what it's called. Just walking through, strolling. We have time to kill until our free walking tour. So it's very pretty, it's a little chilly, very fall-like. And yeah, we're just gonna keep walking, taking the scenes, and then we'll head over for our free walking tour.
So even though the tour that we're doing is a free tour, I think they do ask for tips at the end, and they also recommend that you try to reserve your spot for the tour. Probably can just show up, but it's not something that they recommend. They would rather you like try to book your spot so that they know how many people are coming, so that they can plan properly. We booked our 2 seats, and we're gonna go walk over there slowly, of course, because we have 30 minutes.
We also just saw a proposal. I love seeing proposals when we're traveling.
Yeah.
It's always so sweet.
We almost offered to take them pictures, and I felt like we probably should have, but
I also didn't want to like ruin their moment of like a stranger coming up to them. If, like,
being like, oh hey, happy moment, can I take your picture?
I mean, she had already like said yes and everything, but you know, maybe next time. Okay.
All
Please
right.
arrive 10 minutes before, so we gotta go.
All right. Now you have to make that face. Wait to like snatch it up in post. It looks like
It's like a
disgusted. Like that was a little too good. That was really good, Kayla. Exactly, because I definitely can't do that. All right, so our tour is starting in 15 minutes here. So we're just going to go to our little assembly point and gather for the free tour, go on the free tour.
learn some stuff.
Yeah, I think it's about 2 hours long, so I'll be honest, I don't really know what the tour all includes. I did look up a few things about it, so I know that there's like a few key stops included, but
There's a lot of places. It's like 2 hours long, so you don't have to stay for the whole thing, but I mean, it's cool. It does hit up a lot of places, so.
absolutely. Oh, and what I said earlier about their, like, you don't have to register, you absolutely do have to register, because when you get there, they check your confirmation code. I think sometimes you can, like, register in person, but yeah, I would definitely recommend registering before you get there so that you can guarantee your spot.
This statue behind me here, this is the oldest statue in Edinburgh. Now, do you agree with me? It looks like a Roman emperor, perhaps Julius Caesar. 900 years, it's currently celebrating its 900th birthday.
Very quickly, this is a great tour so far. I would highly recommend it. And we're going to the next stop.
There's an English one. She sat down and she wrote those 7 books about the most famous wizard in the world, Gandalf.
We're here at Greyfriars Graveyard, or Kirkyard, and this is where all of like the J.K. Rowling's book names came from. I have actually been here before, so this is the first time for Ben. It's part of the free walking tour, and I'm sure you'll see some familiar names as we go.
James IV was the last king to be killed in battle in Great Britain. Now, I need to invite you back to the early 1800s. In Edinburgh, there was the best medical school anywhere on planet Earth. The doctors here had become very skilled at doing anatomy and physiology. Dissection was the name of the game. But the Church of Scotland said to the doctors, the only people you are allowed to dissect are people who have been executed in the city.
So So we just finished our free walking tour, and by free I mean like you just pay what you want. So we paid him like the full amount, right? And it was really great. I highly recommend it. He was very knowledgeable. His name was Kenny, and he threw in a lot of jokes. He did everything really well. So
Yeah, it was really good. He gave us like a real good idea of like the medieval Edinburgh, which was really nice. He also kind of explained some of the history behind like the relationship between England and Scotland, which was also really interesting, and then explained to us like some of the differences between the castle, the Holyrood Palace, and the Edinburgh Castle, where like Holyrood was like basically their normal residence, and then the Edinburgh Castle was basically their defensive residence when like there was a chance of being invaded or there was like a bad protest. They would always go up 1 mile, the Royal Mile, up into Edinburgh Castle. Yeah. So it was really interesting. We also learned Edinburgh has a pretty big history of writers behind it. So there's a lot of like really interesting writers in Edinburgh, and not including like J.K. Rowling and stuff like that. There's a long history of like writers coming out of Edinburgh. So
he gave us some fun facts, some serious history. It was a really good mix and really kept us interested. So I highly recommend taking that tour if you're here. And we ended in Greyfriars Kirkyard today because it was a little cold. I think he may have ended it a little bit early, but that's cool. And so we're just walking around. We saw some more fun names, and then we are going to try to find lunch
yes.
and a kilt maker for Ben to get to see if he can find a tartan of his family lineage, because he does have ties here in Scotland.
Alrighty, so we finished up with a quick lunch there. We just stopped at a place called Substation. It's just, I think it's a pretty big chain here in the UK. So we grabbed some food, and now we're going to head to the Royal Yacht Britannia. I'm hoping it's mostly indoors, which that's my guess, because it's actually getting pretty cold out, to be honest, and the wind's really picking up. So tonight is going to be freezing, which is funny because our tour guide warned us about that. He's like, if anybody's going out for the ghost tours tonight, like bundle up, because it's going to be absolutely freezing. Especially with this wind that we've been having. So that's what we're going to be doing next. So we're going to be trying to see if we can pick up our Uber here and go on. It's kind of funny because it probably would have been easier for us to take a taxi here, but we did not. So yeah, we'll just wait for our Uber to show up, and then we'll go on our way. Right, so we're headed up the escalator here, and we're going to try to do the Royal Yacht Britannia tour. It does close at 3, so we have
3:30.
3:30.
Yes, so I think we have time to do it.
Okay. I think the last time that they accept must be 3 then.
Maybe.
So
we'll give it a go.
Yes.
Things close early here, so beware.
Except the bars. Those stay open late.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Those audio things that you like listen to, it's huge. But we are doing a self-guided tour with these of the Royal Britannia yacht, which I believe is the boat that Queen Elizabeth takes, right? Or took.
Yeah, that's correct.
Going up.
That's kind of trippy.
Doors closing.
Doors closing. Added a wall to the front bow of the ship as a modesty wall to keep the royal skirts from flying up while they're like waving to people and stuff like that. I thought that was funny.
That's that little wall right there.
The closet area across from the admiral's quarters has his like suits and stuff, and he had to change up to 12 times a day depending on his like duties at the time. Can you imagine having to change your clothes 12 times a day? That's wild. So this boat carries a lot of like crafts, like other boats and boats, like cars and stuff. And it said that at the time it carried more crafts than a warship because it carries like 10 boats and like cars and stuff. And also there are almost 300 people that like would live in this boat at one time, with like 200 crew members and like admirals, like the different crew members, and then like 45 of the royal family, a couple other people as well. So that's a lot of people to live on this boat. That's like kind of cramped quarters for sure.
And by 45 of the royal family, she means 45 of the royal family household, which includes all of the maids and people who help the king and queen on state visits.
His specific request was that his pillowcases not have the lace borders like hers.
So we figured we would stop, and since we're already here, we would do the Royal Tea Room. And so we're gonna get some tea because it's in the afternoon, a little bit of a pick-me-up, and then we're gonna have a little scone and finish our tour. So if you're already here, you know, might as well do afternoon tea. So figured we'd just go ahead and sit down. So that was a fun little stop. It actually wasn't as expensive as I thought. So I highly recommend if you're here and you know, there's not really much else to get in terms of like cafes or like really small lunch shops around here. This place is great. You can get small little snacks and a little bit of afternoon tea. I think it's great.
This is what Ben's really interested in.
Let me check out these things. These are actually pretty cool, not going to lie.
Is there any like paint over like the...
Yeah. I mean, that's just to blend them in with the ceiling.
What a cool experience. I think having watched The Crown and like being very big Crown like fans, you see this boat I think a lot, like in the beginning at least in that show, and it just is very cool to see like the vacation and like some even like the working spots of like the Queen and stuff like that.
Yes, this is definitely something that I'm gonna go back and watch The Crown for, because this was definitely one of my favorite parts of like seasons 1 and 2 was them like showing and sharing this yacht. I feel like a lot of my style and like Prince Philip's style of like the more traditional stuff is something that I like really relate to. So it's kind of cool seeing some of that stuff like in person. I very much like an Art Deco style, and so like seeing some of that stuff, it's really cool. But I will also be honest, some of the sitting rooms and stuff like that remind me of my like grandparents, because they had like a very similar style. But I'm sure it's just what was popular in like the 50s and 60s. So like it's not surprising that that is the style of a boat that was essentially built in the 50s and 60s. Do you know why they had 2 buttons here? You have to use both hands to press it, so you couldn't accidentally have one hand in there. So you accidentally like burn yourself. So they made it so that there's 2 buttons down here. It's pretty clever. It's like a safety technique. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, this was a great stop. I really liked it.
If you're coming to Scotland, definitely be prepared for the wind and the rain. Don't forget your jacket. Don't forget an extra layer. Otherwise it'll be cold and wet. Anyways, long story short is we decided to have pizza tonight. And there's a nice little place right up the street from us. So we're gonna go grab some pizza and that's gonna be our dinner. How's the pizza, Kayla?
It's really good.
Good. I'm glad you like it.
I can't tell if this is. I asked for vegan cheese. I can't tell if it's vegan cheese or not because it tastes so good.
That's concerning.
I know. We shall see.
Also, highly recommend waterproof shoes. I totally stepped into a like puddle that was like at least 6 inches deep, and I'm like, as soon as I stepped in it, I realized like I messed up, and I couldn't tell because it's like that cobblestone road, and so like I stepped down and it just my foot kept going, and I was like, oh no. But these shoes are waterproof, so at least that's good. You win some, you lose some. But yeah, it might be a good recommendation if you're coming to Edinburgh. Pretty much any time of the year, but especially during like fall, bring your waterproof shoes. Anyways, long story long, that's gonna be the end of our video. I don't think we have anything more for today, but tomorrow we have to go pick up our rental car and then take a trip into the Scottish Highlands, except I think it's more like central lands, so it's not really that like, I don't know, we're not going that far north just because it takes way too much time to get there, and we only have 2 more nights in the Highlands, and then we have 1 more night here in Edinburgh. So anyways, that is it for this video. Please go ahead and subscribe. We really appreciate it. We have been trying to grow our subscribers, and if you made it this far in the video, you definitely should subscribe to us. You know, we appreciate it. And I think that is it. So anyways, be kind, travel more.